This is Logikbomb, and you're watching Behind the Beats. Gonna go ahead and put some drums to this.
How'd you get into production?
I'm gonna try to make a long story short. When I was very young, I guess about 5 years old, I was the type of kid that I used to listen keenly to everything that my mom was playing, which, because in my earlier years, either I was back and forth from DC or California, like I was getting used to hearing different types of music. We stayed listening to Spyro Gyra, Tears for Fears in California, but yet we would come back home to DC and be listening to go-go and stuff like that. For one holiday, my mom got me a turntable and 2 records for my, for a present, and ever since then I was hooked with music. Growing up over the years, I would find a Casio keyboard here and there, or me and my brother would beatbox, on tape over top of some fake chords which we didn't know how to play or whatever like that. But that really got me into production, which I didn't know that's what I was doing then. I would just do it, I would just make my own music.
Who are your production influences?
Okay, production influences. I would say first off,
Your top 5.
Okay, top 5. Okay, Jay Dilla first. Jay Dilla, because I grew up listening to that guy and I didn't know who he was, but I was so influenced. Like, the soundtrack to my life contains a lot of Jay Dilla beats, so I would say him. Next, it will probably be Premier. I always loved his drums. I always was into how he chopped things up, and how I chop things up now is kind of almost like I have it in mind, like, okay, that's how a Premier would chop it. But DiBiase, he's a new cat, but he's one of my, I'm influenced by his stuff, like the way he chops things up, even if it's easy stuff, the way he chops it up and make it sound real, and I would say too, also Odyssey right here from the DMV. Odyssey, that guy, just if you look at some of his recent projects, the way that he's been, like he used to do almost like boom bap, he used to do boom bap beats. Now he's kind of like going on to different melodic scene type stuff, like I was talking about. And Dame Funk from LA, his stuff, when I listen to his stuff, I think of my childhood in California. That's what I think about. And his chords are amazing. Stuff that I would want to chop up, but I almost feel forbidden because it's just like I want to learn how to play keys the way he does. of people think this is weird, which Roddy Rod brought this to my attention. I don't save any of my sounds. A lot of people are, why don't you save any of your sounds? Like, I have the program disc. I got a few different sounds that I saved offline, and I stopped using them. Like, I don't save any sound. Once I get it into the MP, chop it up, make a song, I don't save it after. And I think that's what keeps me creative. Like, because I feel like if I'm using the same drum, or something like that, over time, then I'll get stuck into one, and I think using the SP303 back in the day really caused me to, I didn't know where to find memory cards, so I just had to get a beat on, make it, get the sounds, make the beat, record it on tape or whatever, and then turn it off and make something else. So, yeah.
Let's talk about your process as far as production. Do you start with the sample? You start with the drums, or how do you start working on a beat?
A lot of times it depends. It depends on what my feeling is. Sometimes I may have drums in my head. I may be tapping on something while talking on the phone. Playing with my fingers, and I'm like, okay, let me try to emulate that. That combination of sounds or whatever on the MP or whatever. So I'll chop up some drums, or sometimes I may just throw on a record, chop some sounds up, some Fender Rhodes or whatever. Not even nothing necessarily in particular, just chopping whatever a section of sounds that I really like, and then I'll chop that up and truncate it the way that I want it, and then I'll throw some drums on top of that. And how I do it now, without letting too many secrets out, like I really like addictive drums. And so if I want something to sound live, then I'll go ahead and chop up something melodic, do the drums, off of addictive drums, make it sound live, and then do a bass line, which I'm not good at but that's basically my process. I almost never like go to the MP like I know what I'm wanna make, unless I'm working with a artist, which a lot lately. I'm working with an artist from VA named 85 Mind, and a lot of his stuff is specific. He wants specific sounds like this, and so I'm finding myself having to look for certain sounds now. So my process is becoming a little different for this particular artist or whatever.
You throw that snare in there to throw people off balance?
Huh?
You throw that snare in there to throw people off
I'm
balance?
telling you, you know what? That's where the Dilla stuff. I told you one of my production influences is Dilla, and at his transition, by the time Donuts came out, Donuts was crazy. Like, the way he chopped everything, his stuff was off kilter. I like that imperfectness of that album. The fact that they weren't so, he wasn't so concerned with as far as it having to be quantized, or it having to be, he wanted it crunchy and raw like he usually said, but that's me. That's my production too, as far as things being off kilter, not necessarily being quantized or anything, because I listen to jazz too. Big up to Jay Lane, by the way. Very, very vicious DMV drummer and everything, and that off kilter stuff, that's what I go for as well. So yeah, that's what you hear in that. That's what you hear in
If you were trapped in the studio with an artist for a whole week to make an album,
that.
who would it be?
MF Doom. That's yeah. Ever since I heard Mad Villain, I've been like, I like, I liked his vocal, the way he MCs and stuff, the way he raps, and I was like, if I work with a MC, it'll be him.
What you working with
Well,
as far as equipment?
I got the Akai products, the MPC 2000 XL. I love this machine. I've had an MV 8000 before, and I love the amount of sounds that it had. But I actually sold that just to get the MPC back again because the feel of it. People try to be say stuff about it doesn't matter about the feel. I think it does. Because and simplicity is good too. I got, like I said, this was my first boards. I do use the boards. I have used the boards, but I don't really much anymore because I use my little Axiom 25 on Reason or whatever VSTs I have to get some sounds layered on my beats. And I got Reason. I have Ableton Live 8. Which is a vicious program, but I haven't mastered that yet. Big up to Roddy Rod for putting me on to the Reaper because now that's my Pro Tools. That's my standard. Other than that, yeah, it's just basically the MP, the records, the VSTs with the MIDI controllers. I got some extra pads or whatever, put it on another channel, and then I'm ready to bang out some more drums.